Viewer discretion is advised.
You are listening to Wine and Crime, the podcast where two friends chug wine, chat true crime, and unleash their worst Minnesotan accents.
Ugh, you darn tootin'.
Darn toot. Is there any other kind of tootin'?
Other than darn tootin'?
I'm Lucy.
I'm Amanda.
Wow, today, today's episode might be a bit of a bummer.
Yeah, before we hit record, I just looked at Lucy and I was like, this episode's gonna be so fucking sad.
So, just spoiler at the top, if you're not having a great time and you don't want to be bummed out, then
listen anyway.
Then too fucking bad.
It just sucks. Like,
get the tissues.
Yeah, all the most important things to discuss are also the most heart-wrenching and devastating things to discuss.
I mean, yes. And this is a very serious topic with very serious real-world significant implications.
Mm-hmm.
And right now I'm going to tell you what that topic is. We have a very special fanfic coming to us today from Frankie McKnight.
Thank you, Frankie.
Thank you, Frankie. Not really, because this is devastating.
No, we still thank you. Almost every fanfic is devastating in its own way. We know what we're doing.
That's true. Well, Frankie has a personal connection to my case. Oh, which really drives it home. Frankie has chosen the topic of system failures.
Great.
When
As
the
in
things
systemic
that are meant,
systems.
When the things that are meant to keep us alive and healthy don't.
No.
So yeah, we will get to Frankie's personal connection to this topic. But first, Amanda, please juice us up with your wine crime pairing for system failures, because Mama's got to get a little bit separated from the cold, harsh reality of what we're about to discuss.
I get it. I am super excited about this because I had not heard of this winery. It's Slate Theory. You can check them out at slatetheory.com. It's SLATETHEORY. And their wines look gorgeous. They're so cool. The labels are stunning. These are a little bit more of a splurge, but my God, they are so cool. Frankie specifically had requested that we shout out a Slate Theory wine called the Insomniac, but when I went to the website, it does look like that one is no longer available. So I picked a comparable offering from their site, which is kind of the opposite of the Insomniac, which is the Narcoleptic.
Oh, no.
And the bottle design is super cool. So this is a 2022 Côte d'Aron red blend. It's light-bodied. It's just this gorgeous red that pairs really well with food. And the fun thing about those Côte d'Aron wines is that, like, they are complex and they do have a lot of layers of flavor, depending on, what blends you're looking for and what flavor profile you're looking for. But they are a little bit more delicate, so they're not going to be like a mega palate blaster. So these wines can hold up to like a really nice pasta with red sauce that has like a little kick to it. This would be really good with like lamb chops or like a little filet mignon moment, but also if you wanted to down this with like some Taco Bell, you could absolutely do that too. I mean, you can do whatever the hell you want.
Do not put your limitations on my Taco Bell.
Never. Keep your laws off my body. So
keep your laws off my Baja.
off my Baja Blast. So this is 70% Mourvèdre, 30% Syrah. It was aged for 31 months in a blend of oak barrels. So 34% French oak and 66% neutral oak, so that it's not giving it that like overwhelmingly oaky flavor. I feel like they wanted to enhance the beautiful notes of these wines with a little touch of that French oak, but then keep the rest neutral so that the grapes can really like speak for themselves. And as a result, you get violet on the nose, a little rose water, some sweet tobacco, cinnamon, brown sugar. I'm talking like smoked meats. Like it's got like this smoky, sweet scent on the nose. And then you're getting some ripe raspberry, some red currant, a little bit of like a soft Earl Grey tea, a little touch of vanilla on the palate.
Good God.
I know. This is making me want cheesecake, like really bad, like
Yeah.
a pumpkin cheesecake to go with this wine.
Are you pregnant?
No. Promise you I'm not.
Thank God.
I guarantee it. So she is a popper. You're going to need a wine key to get her open. I believe you can order these through their website. So you can head to slatetheory.com. That's SLATE theory.com. They're also pretty active on social media. So you can follow them on Facebook or Instagram at Slate Theory Winery. And you can take a look at like events that they might have coming up. You can go do a tasting. They have a wine club. It's like they have so much cool stuff going on. Looks like they are located in Fredericksburg, Texas. So it's really fun to like feature a Texas winery. I feel like we don't really talk that much about, Texas wineries. Yeah. So I'm super excited to check them out. This comes from the Texas High Plains appellation. So it looks gorgeous. I cannot wait to order this. And yeah, check them out at slatetheory.com.
Cute. Texas wine. Who would have thought?
God bless.
Yeah.
All right. Let's take a quick break to hear a word from our sponsors, and then we'll dive into all of it.
Go take this opportunity to take your meds.
Yep. Rip your pens, take your meds, and then come back.
Having breakfast and getting your daily protein can be a challenge if you're not really actively thinking about it or actively craving it. And that is why David protein bars have changed the game for me, because they are so delicious.
Mm-hmm.
David is now available at Walmart stores nationwide and on walmart.com, where you can try a single bar for only $2.97. And with that kind of availability,
Seriously.
You really have no excuse not to give David protein a try.
Oh, man. And the gold, like David's Hero protein bars, the flavors are so delicious. And I love them because they actually do taste like a sweet treat. But you're getting 28 grams of protein, 150 calories, and 0 grams of sugar. So for me, as a diabetic who loves to snack, these are a great option. This equates to 75% calories from protein, the highest protein to calorie ratio of any leading bar on the market. Each gold bar features an indulgent, doughy texture. The texture is on point. Like it tastes like a candy bar, because you also get these like, chewy chunks or crispy, like airy crisps. Like it has a variation of textures that combine really nicely together. I feel like a lot of protein bars, it's just you got this one really hard, really dry texture, and that's the best you're going to get. No, let me tell you. The flavors are also really, really good. They have 8 core flavors: chocolate chip cookie dough, peanut butter chocolate chunk, salted peanut butter, that's one of my favorites, fudge brownie, blueberry pie, which I did try for the first time a couple nights ago. So good. Red velvet, cake batter, and cinnamon roll. Girl. Most protein bars are packed with excess calories and sugar, but David is different, delivering the most protein for the fewest calories. And it's great for staying full and hitting your protein goals without compromising on taste or texture.
Don't just take our word for it. Go grab one for yourself. Head to Walmart today to try a bar or stock up on 4 counts of your favorite flavors like blueberry pie and salted peanut butter, sold exclusively at Walmart. Check out walmart.com to find a store near you.
Every Plate is the affordable, low-stress way to cook great meals while balancing work, your social life, your budget. You got picky eaters, they've got your back. You got a weird schedule and you need something that you can make quick and not have to think about. Got your back. Okay, I don't really have much of like a weeknight routine, and that can leave me in a space of, oh my gosh, it's 7 p.m. and I haven't made dinner yet. What am I going to do? And Every Plate always answers that question for me, and it is amazing.
I've been trying to cook more, but like it's so easy to spiral with anxiety of like what I'm going to cook, what I'm going to go to the grocery store, how much is this going to cost? Is my child going to like it? Is it going to take 3 hours? But no, Every Plate calms my anxieties. Every Plate is an affordable meal kit that simplifies weeknight cooking for parents who just don't have time for mealtime battles. Not even just parents, anyone. This is perfect for anyone balancing school, sports, homework, everything in between. They have a rotating selection of craveable, comfort-forward dishes like crispy buffalo ranch chicken, Amanda's
that's
favorite.
my favorite.
Caramelized onion smash burgers.
Yum.
They're also offering their biggest menu yet, so more chicken dishes, more veggie-forward options, and a bigger variety of global flavors. I love trying something new.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just so good for your budget. It's cheaper than the grocery store. It's half the price of takeout. You're not going to waste a bunch of food or ingredients.
Cilantro that you're not going to use because you needed it for one recipe.
Exactly. So they're pre-portioned ingredients. That's reduced mess, reduced waste, and these meals are ready in a half hour or less. And they're beautiful little step-by-step recipe cards that make it friendly for all skill levels. And my secret is I keep the recipe cards and I recreate these because they're just
I always keep my favorites. Yeah.
3 out of 4 customers say Every Plate encourages their kids to try new foods, and I can definitely see why.
So try Every Plate and get $2.99 per meal on your first box plus 10% off for a month. Go to everyplate.com/podcast and use code GALS299 to claim your offer. That's code GALS299 at everyplate.com/podcast to get $2.99 per meal on your first box plus 10% off for a month. Ditch the dinner time dilemmas with Every Plate.
Here's something gross. Traditional bed sheets can hold more bacteria than your toilet seat, a public toilet seat.
Girl, I can't.
That is not what you want to lay your face on at night. But Miracle Made bedding is designed to fight bacteria and stay cleaner longer with silver-infused fabrics that actually prevent up to 99.7% of bacterial growth.
Yes, ma'am. And if you don't want to think about that, you can think about this instead. Miracle Made sheets crafted with that NASA-inspired silver-infused fabric that helps regulate not only the bacterial growth, it also regulates your body temperature. And my body temp is manic throughout the night. She's up, she's down, she's all over the place. So if you're a hot sleeper, a cold sleeper, it really doesn't matter. These sheets help keep you in the comfort zone all night long. And other benefits to them staying cleaner longer, thanks again to that antibacterial silver technology. They stay cleaner and fresher up to 3 times longer than regular sheets. And that means fewer odors, doing less laundry, fewer wash cycles. It's also better for your skin because sleeping on all that bacteria can clog your pores and cause breakouts. So you can actually sleep cleaner and clearer night after night. They also feel just as good. This is the main question that I get is what do they feel like? Girl, they are so soft. And I have said this a million times, but we've washed our sheets obviously over and over and over again. They're still so soft every time they go through a wash cycle. It's really amazing. They feel as good, if not better, than sheets you'd find at a 5-star hotel without the steep price tag. They are smooth, they're breathable, and they are ridiculously comfortable.
Upgrade your sleep or give the gift of better rest. Go to trymiracle.com/gals to try Miracle Made sheets today. You'll save over 40%, and when you use promo code GALS, you'll get an extra 20% off plus a free 3-piece towel set. They make an amazing gift, and with a 30-day money-back guarantee, there's no risk. That's trymiraclemade.com/gals, code GALS at checkout, and thanks to Miracle Made for sponsoring this episode.
I'm scared. Lucy, what do you got for us today for system failures?
Listen, this is an important story to be told. I'm going to give a trigger warning at the top. We're going to talk about disordered eating and self-harm. So if that's not your bag today or ever, feel free to skip on over to Amanda's segment.
Yep. Which won't be lighthearted, but won't discuss those specific topics.
Yeah. Different set of trigger warnings at the top of her segment.
Rage.
Okay, so I don't have a lot of backstory of this individual, but there was a young woman named Claire Greaves, and she lived in Pontypool in Wales, of course, the UK. She was an adorable little girl. I have a bunch of pictures of her on the drive. There's one called Claire at 4. Have you ever seen a cuter child in your life?
Oh, yeah. She's a cutie pie.
She's got just big brown eyes. The cutest, thickest bangs.
Yes, the bangs.
So when Claire was around 5 years old, she developed a fear of food and she stopped eating. Her sickness worsened over the years as she also battled with depression and suicidal thoughts. She was eventually diagnosed with anorexia and depression at the age of 15. So it sounds like that's the first time she was diagnosed with anything. Imagine going 5 years without eating or having that kind of trauma around something so basic as such a young child. So she later said, quote, "I'd often worry that eating food would make me sick. People dismissed it as a phase at first, but as I got older, things began to spiral out of control. Something I find quite frustrating is the way some people trivialize mental health conditions such as eating disorders or think that they're somehow a lifestyle choice. They are not."
No, we've lost a good friend to disordered eating. It is a devastating disease.
Yeah, it's an illness. Claire had a blog, which is why we know so much about what Claire's point of view was.
She got to talk about her own experiences, which is pretty amazing.
Her blog is incredible. She's so transparent and candid about all of these really sensitive personal issues. And it's just like you feel like you get such an insight into who she is. So her blog is called Mental Illness Talk. It's a WordPress site. So if you want to look at it, it's mentalillnesstalk.wordpress.com, where she writes posts with titles such as Easter with an Eating Disorder, My Night in the Secure Unit, If I Were to Get Well.
Oh, that's devastating.
What It's Like to Be Restrained.
Oh, God.
Stigma Can Be Devastating. And Radical Acceptance, Making the Best out of the Situation I Am In.
Oh, God.
The way that she just like explores just so many facets of her disease and gives us such an insight into like what that's like. That's not a door that we very often get to look through.
No.
She wrote in April 2016, she was writing about her time in middle school. Quote, "I felt geeky, ugly, and I hated myself. I began to walk for hours before school. I'd barely eat anything, and anything that was eaten would be thrown up. I was self-harming several times a day and overdosing at the back of class."
Oh, God.
At this point,
This poor girl.
At this point, I didn't even know that I had a mental illness. Like, there was such a stigma that she didn't even really know to put a name to it to say there's something wrong with me.
And middle school, first of all, should be fucking illegal. Like, people talk about how traumatizing high school is, and I believe it. Like, I didn't have that experience, but I believe it because kids are mean. But, like, middle school
It's crazy.
It's hell. You are at some of the most, like, vulnerable hormonal place in your life. You feel, even if you are just experiencing the quote unquote normal transition of adolescence, you feel fucking insane. And you don't have like the language even to necessarily name what's happening to you. And then I feel like it's so common for kids of this age to have these issues cast aside as just being like a hormonal teen going through a phase or going through whatever. And then they fall through the cracks.
And how old are you in middle school? 11?
Oh, yeah, 11 to 13.
Get
a
worst grip.
Years of my life.
It's not a reasonable time of life.
Oh, my God. No, it's awful. It's awful. So this is breaking my heart already.
Well, it gets
worse.
She said once she left school, anorexia and depression began to, quote, grip their hands tighter and tighter around her neck. Her life became a blur of hospital admissions, detentions. We'll get to the detentions. Numbers, scales, and suicide attempts. She said, quote, "Growing up, I wanted to be a nurse or a dancer. Battling severe mental illness was not part of that plan, she said. Many months of my life have been spent surviving or dying on very little food. I would eat so little food that my body couldn't keep itself warm." Eventually, her blog found quite a pretty significant following. At least, certain people took notice of her openness and her writing style. And she ended up writing articles for the Huffington Post about mental illness.
Wow.
And it was very clear in listening to her words and reading her articles that she really valued educating people and raising awareness because, like we said, all too often the stigmas surrounding mental illness, particularly eating disorders in young girls, prevent issues from being addressed until they're already a problem, if they're ever addressed at all. She said that speaking about her experience has helped alleviate some of her own challenges, and kind of saw it as like therapeutic in a way. So she said the more silence there is, the worse the situation is and can get.
Right.
Also, like a major through line in the things that she spoke about her advocacy was just like having it make her not feel alone and also helping others not feel alone.
Yes.
That was a big deal to her.
That isolation is so horrifying. Like when you're experiencing this and there's nowhere to turn to feel like anyone understands what's happening, must be so scary.
And all of these things are bad enough, but if the whole experience was underscored by nobody caring, acknowledging, talking about, that just makes everything seem insurmountable. So she was also politically involved, advocating for reforms within the NHS in regards to mental health. So the NHS is the National Health Service.
Yeah.
It's the free health care that they have over there, and free health care is nothing to shake a stick at. However,
wouldn't we love to have some over here?
Yes, but it has to be. I mean, we'll get to it.
Englanders have long complained about the structure of their not the fact that it is free and accessible, but the structure of their own nationalized health system. And we're not saying that like having free healthcare doesn't come with its own logistical and systemic issues. It absolutely does, because it's still controlled by shitty systems.
Yeah. But they have been asking largely for an overhaul for a long time, because there are many corners of the NHS that are overlooked, understaffed, not doing great.
Right.
As we'll get to. So she criticized the government for failing to provide specialist healthcare professionals and units for young people. She said, quote, "They don't know what to do when a young person walks through the door. People deserve better than that. Young people deserve recovery and a chance at living a fulfilling life." By the time Claire was 22, this is all before the age of 22.
She's so young.
Her disordered eating began to also encompass an addiction to exercise. At around that time, when she turned 22, she weighed less than 84 pounds.
Oh, God.
So she would take 10 times the recommended dose of laxatives in a bid to get rid of the calories that she consumed. She said, quote, "If I ate a sandwich, it feels like it has gone straight onto my body, like it's on my thighs instantly. And that's where the guilt comes from." And also around this time, she has been diagnosed with a personality disorder.
Okay.
So she has a lot on her plate.
Yeah, there's comorbidities are usually part of the broader spectrum of disordered eating. It usually doesn't just come out of nowhere all on its own.
Or by itself.
Yeah, exactly.
So her mental health had been so bad at times, she had to be sectioned under the Mental Health Act of 1983. So in the UK, you can be sectioned, which means you're being held without your consent at a hospital. There are different sections of the Health Act, and some of them, as we'll kind of get to, involve the police. But yeah, it means you're being held against your will, essentially. So she was 19 years old the first time she was detained under what is called Section 136 by the police, and was kept in a cell like a criminal because no there weren't any hospital beds available for her.
So
they just took her to the police station.
This sounds so helpful for her condition.
Yeah. I mean, someone in crisis, why wouldn't you throw them into a jail cell?
Right. That'll fix it.
Yeah. Normally, under Section 136, patients are taken to a place of safety, such as a hospital or a specific Section 136 suite, which is a specially created room with a bed and chairs and trained psychiatric staff who will look after the patient until they are assessed. Not a prison cell.
Right.
On the night Claire was detained, there were no beds available. She said, quote, "They were left with no choice but to take me to a cell. It was utterly terrifying. I was so scared of getting into trouble. I was strip searched and cried the whole way through. It was a Friday night and incredibly stressful. 10 hours later, I finally saw a doctor and was taken to a psych ward." She was 19.
Oh, my God.
In April 2017, she was moved from Neville Hall Hospital in Abergavenny.
Okay.
So that's about 20 minutes from her hometown to Signet in Coventry, which was about 2 hours away. So she was moved farther away from her family, who thought that they could provide better care for her at this Signet hospital farther away. It was a brand new hospital at the time. I think they just sort of equated that with better care, possibly. On May 2nd, 2017, Claire tweeted, quote, "I wish I could just go home. I don't want to be over 100 miles away from home for such a long time."
Oh, I don't blame her.
And I guess I should kind of clarify, our fan picker, Frankie, had met Claire online because I believe Frankie lives in the US, Claire lives in the UK. So they would just kind of communicate online, and they were going through similar situations. So they'd, encourage each other to be good to their bodies and check in with each other. They formed a very good friendship.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah. Claire had all of these. She spoke at conferences. She was on the news. She wrote all these stories. She really was like big into advocacy at this time in her life, despite being in the hospital for like a lot of this time. And I was going through reading her blog, and it was like she was in hospitals for months at a time.
Yeah,
like throughout, and she's just so young. So on February 27th, 2018, Claire died by suicide at Signet Hospital at the age of just 25 years old.
Oh, poor angel.
Clearly, this should not have happened and should have been preventable from any fucking angle that you come at it. I mean, not to be morbid, but what happened, she was able to obtain a piece of fabric. And she was left alone in her room. So like neither of those things should have happened, but she used the fabric as a piece of rope. So an inquest into her death found a catalog of failings in her care when she was a patient at Signet Hospital in Coventry, where she was segregated from her family for weeks on end. And that meant no phone calls. They couldn't they couldn't access her.
Oh, that would be so lonely and scary and devastating to not even be able to just call your family and give them an update, let them know how you're doing, hear their voice.
She was also essentially in solitary.
Wow.
So,
I mean, she's not a criminal. She's mentally unwell.
Yeah. So she had been placed in the hospital by a Nuremberg University Health Board, who said it was the only available hospital that could manage Claire's anorexia and personality disorder. I guess the thinking initially was they had specialists in both of those areas because, like we said, they very often overlap, but they are two very distinct issues with different treatment, requirements. Further, an inquest jury found the following: that Claire's mental state declined following long-term segregation and seclusion. Staffing levels at the hospital were, quote, probably caused or contributed to her death.
Yeah, because there weren't enough people to monitor her. And they stuck her alone in a fucking room.
There was a failure to increase observations despite Claire making numerous self-harm attempts in the days prior to her death.
So they were aware of this pattern happening right there in their own building.
They were very fucking aware. Mm-hmm. They were very aware. Claire's care plan could have been followed had there been sufficient staff on duty. Mm-hmm. And there was a failure in allowing Claire to be alone in her room prior to her death, contrary to her care plan. Mm-hmm. She was supposed to, at that time, have like one-on-one monitoring.
Yeah.
And she didn't have any type of monitoring. Mm. And there had already been concerns raised about Signet's the hospital system before Claire's death. Specifically, that recruitment and retention of staff was difficult with a high turnover, which led to a shortfall in training and supervision levels.
Okay.
So basically, they were understaffed, number one, but the staff that they did have were undertrained because the turnover was so great.
Right.
And no one had done anything about it. That was before her death. Signet said staffing levels were always run at nationally recognized safe levels. It added that it had listened to and acted on the concerns of a guy named Taffy Mandiza. Mm-hmm. I'm just going to call him Taffy. What a great name.
Incredible.
But he was Claire's ward manager. Mm-hmm. So he had raised the alarm to his higher up several times. And in retrospect, Signet was like, yeah, we addressed his concerns.
Yeah, how exactly? By saying, yep, got it, and then not fucking doing anything. And then this guy he can't be 50 places at once. He's doing his best to say, hey, this is not a good situation. We need more help here. And they blew him off, basically.
Yep. It came out later, in fact, that Taffy emailed managers a week before Claire's death saying that he was, quote, really concerned about staffing levels, which he, quote, together with the entire staff team, believed to be very unsafe.
Oh, my God.
I don't know how much more clear you would have to be. That was a week before she died.
Wow.
And he pointed specifically to her case. Like, no one is safe, particularly these very high-risk patients.
Mm-hmm.
Another inspection published 5 months after Claire's death found staffing was still a problem, with 61% of employees not comfortable with their daily workload.
Oh, my God.
In a psych hospital.
61%?
61% said they were not comfortable with their own daily workload.
Oh, God.
Claire's parents, Colin and Debbie Greaves, said they were unable to contact their daughter for several weeks when she was placed in seclusion and long-term segregation. Colin said, quote, while she was in seclusion, we had no access to her. We weren't allowed to visit. The only contact we had was when we did manage to get a phone call from Claire that raised our concerns about what had been taking place while she was in seclusion. She told us she had no furniture in her room, that her mattress was brought in at night for her to sleep on and then taken back out.
So she just sat like on the floor in an empty fucking room all day?
Yeah, apparently. She also mentioned that there had been poor support for her hygiene while she was in there.
Oh my God.
So tell me how this is better than a prison.
I mean, and tell me how, like, if you went in this of completely sound and able mind, this would make you lose your shit.
Yeah.
You're not bathed. You can't bathe or shower for days on end. Mm-hmm. You're in an empty room speaking to no one. You have a mattress dragged in at night to go to sleep.
Yeah.
While you're trying to engage in mental health recovery. This is like completely inhumane.
I don't know. I don't have any details apart from this because that's what her parents are saying publicly. It's likely that there was some sort of like outdoor time or, therapy or, something. But if they're saying she's secluded, she's being monitored, but she's alone.
Yeah.
She doesn't have a bed or a chair or a table.
Oh, God.
That doesn't suggest recovery and mental wellness to me. So like I said, her care plan said she should have been under 1-to-1 monitoring between the risk hours of 5 to 6 p.m. And that is when she did take her own life. Taffy questions whether Signet's approach to staffing and patient numbers was influenced by financial considerations.
It always fucking is.
Saying, quote, there was a focus on filling the beds. There was an overwhelming pressure to admit patients, even though we would say the ward is not suitable for us to admit new patients. The ward is volatile at the moment. It's a fact that independent hospitals are there to make a profit, but you can still make a profit while maintaining patient safety. Preach, Taffy.
Yeah, this is devastating. I feel so terrible for him as well. Like someone who really did try to help her and other patients in that hospital and was just ignored.
Completely ignored.
And people die as a result. It is literally life or death.
And Claire had a fairly high profile publicly, which is probably the only reason that we
know about any of this.
Are hearing about it. This shit happens all the time.
Yes.
And historically, putting disabled people away, not treating them, just getting them out of the way is like the name of the game. That's what has happened repeatedly in history. So why should we be really surprised by this?
Definitely
it's
not
devastating.
Surprised. Horrified, yes.
Yes. It's sick. But we can do better and we need to do better. So Signet responded to Taffy that basically saying, well, he's full of shit. And after Claire's death, it undertook a full root cause analysis and implemented a number of measures, including the coroner's recommendation that signs should be put up requesting patients not to throw objects onto the floor.
So are they trying to say that someone threw the scrap of fabric that she got access to? And so it's like, oh, okay, we'll put up a sign that tells patients not to just discard stuff on the floor so that stuff like this doesn't happen.
That's really what that sounds like.
Yeah, which completely passes the buck and the responsibility off of the people in charge of administering this care.
It's interesting that it was a coroner's recommendation to put up signs.
Yeah.
It's just bullshit. Don't throw things on the floor. What? Someone died.
Yeah, what the fuck?
That was one step in many, 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 many steps where someone fucked up. But let's put up signs.
That'll fix it.
So her death technically was not ruled a suicide because the inquest jury had reached an open conclusion and felt that care failings had contributed to her death. So it's not a suicide if
it's neglect, essentially.
It's a lot of things.
Yeah.
So Claire is described by friends as a proud, strong, optimistic young woman whose life ended needlessly. Frankie says, quote, she was on top of the world for just a brief time and it shines in my memory like gold. I am very, very tired of folks like Clary and Frankie called her Clary. Clary and myself being blamed for our own illnesses and taken advantage of in this way. Clary was very self-aware. She wanted to be well. She had dreams she shared with me and people she loved spending time with. She knew she was struggling, and so she entrusted herself to this facility to help her get well, and they let her down so badly that it cost her her life. The broken system that she made it her life's purpose to bring attention to and solve is the same system that killed her.
Yeah.
Ugh, I've got goosebumps. A recent report from January of this year found that there has just been all-encompassing failures across the NHS, including 3.6 billion pounds. The cost of medical negligence is diverted funds away from frontline NHS care. They have paid out 3.6 billion pounds in negligence.
So instead of
Shit.
trying to fix the issues that lead to the negligence, they just continue to throw money at these. And I mean, this happens in the United States too. I'm just putting this in the perspective of what you're saying. They just continue to throw money at these settlements, essentially.
These aren't all settlements, by the way.
Okay.
It's just their analysis of the total cost of the negligence.
Okay.
But still, I mean, I'm sure some of it is.
Think what we could do
Yeah.
with that money to fix the negligence.
They also found that lawsuits involving brain-damaged babies can take up to 12 years to settle.
What? What the fuck?
Take a little longer, why don't you? Brain-damaged babies?
Oh, God.
Also, some patients sue because hospitals refuse to tell them what went wrong with their care. There's just no transparency.
That happens here too, because so many hospitals are just trying to like cover their butts from malpractice lawsuits. That it's like there are things that the doctors like can't say transparently to the patient without like a lawyer basically putting it in some sort of "we're not responsible" jargon.
Which is so nuts. It's your body.
Nuts. Yes.
It's your Baja.
It's your Baja Blast.
So, quote, these mind-boggling clinical negligence costs are a horrific symptom of an NHS that has been neglected and mismanaged for too long, said Helen Morgan, the Liberal Democrats' health spokesperson. So we could do a whole... Frankie and I considered NHS crimes, but like... Frankie wanted to tell their friend's story also. So that is... part of Claire's story, certainly not her lasting legacy. But if it is something that interests you and something that won't harm you, you should check out her blog. It is really, really interesting. But yeah, that's mentalillnesstalk.wordpress.com. And for mental health resources, we've got a ton on our resources page on our website, wineandcrimepodcast.com. You can also go to findahelpline.com and sort of... If you have a specific need, specific location, things like that. So,
wow, that is really fucking devastating. My heart goes out to her and her family and her friends, and it's just got to be so hard to like watch somebody you love go through that kind of like through a computer screen essentially, and know that there's nothing that you can do.
Yeah,
and know that she's being failed even in the space that's supposed to be helping her. It's devastating.
Frankie said that because Claire had kind of been in and out, they knew that she was going in for a stay. So like they weren't super concerned when they didn't hear back from her, you know, within a couple weeks or whatever. But then I think they commented on one of her old posts, like, "Where are you?" And one of her friends over there saw it and contacted Frankie and told them about it.
Oh, my God. Oh, that fucking breaks my heart.
I know.
Whew. Well.
Aren't we glad we took our meds today?
Yes. Thank you for sharing this.
Yes.
And let's take another quick break to regroup and get into my case.
All right, let's do it.
If you've got that spring bug to get organized, maybe change out the patio furniture, spruce up the entryway, well, there is no better place to go than Wayfair, because they've got pieces that work within your budget. They also have fast shipping and easy assembly options, and truly anything that you're looking for, you can find on there. They've got it all.
No matter what your aesthetic is, if you're a mid-century mod kind of person, maybe more farmhouse, maybe more eclectic, maybe a little bit of everything, you will find what you're looking for at Wayfair. They have everything. If you are looking for that spring refresh, the outdoor furniture, the patio decor, they've got that. If you're looking around and realizing that your house is kind of a mess, they have so much organizational tools, from closet systems to garage organization. Also just home projects, furniture upgrades, accent pieces. If your kid's playroom is looking crazy, you can update their bedroom, you can organize their playroom. if you work from home, need an ergonomic chair, they have that.
Mm-hmm. My work desk and chair are both from Wayfair, and my rug.
So are mine. I don't think there's a room in my house where I don't have at least one thing from Wayfair because they
Agreed.
have absolutely everything. And they're different from other home retailers. Sometimes if I'm like, I need a side table and I need it now, and then I'll go to like a store, like a big box store, and try to find something that fits my aesthetic, I always leave disappointed. You pay too much. It's not what you want. Just go to Wayfair and get exactly what you're looking for an excellent price, and it'll arrive quickly, and you'll put it together, and your life will be better because of it.
So find furniture, decor, and essentials that fit your unique style and budget. Head to wayfair.com right now to shop all things home. That's WAYFAIR.com. Wayfair, every style, every home. Tons of parents say, I didn't plan on formula, and sure, lots don't. And yet 74% of families turn to it at some point in their feeding journey. And as a new parent, listen, we all know you're already exhausted. You're nervous. You're doing this for the first time. What the heck is going on? Having to decode long ingredient lists or blindly trust brands without a lot of transparency is a lot. Frankly, parents should not have to bend over backwards to understand what they're feeding their little babies.
Yeah, so make it easier on yourself and check out Little Spoon. They are explicit about what's in their organic grass-fed whole milk infant formula, how it's sourced, and how each batch is safely tested. And to back it up, they publish their testing results right on their website. So the info is right out there. But the best part is once you're through the formula stage, you don't have to scramble all over again. Little Spoon is built to be a feeding partner from day one with expert-crafted recipes for babies, toddlers, and big kids, pediatrician-backed guidance, and a community of parents just like you. It's nutrition for every stage of babies and kids' development, already thought through and delivered to your door. And when peace of mind shows up like that, it's definitely worth holding on to. I couldn't recommend Little Spoon more. I have got a freezer full of little kids' frozen meals for June, and they come in major handy.
I'm sure.
So this formula is made from organic whole milk from grass-fed free-range cows in New Zealand, where standards for animal care and land quality are incredibly high. So these are some happy cows, which means happy milk. It's U.S. and EU organic, clean label purity awarded and tested for over 500 toxins and contaminants, including heavy metals. And again, that's posted right on their site. It uses whole milk fats, so there's less need for added oils. It's all right there. This is modeled after breast milk to be more gentle on tummies and easy to digest. Complete nutrition from day one with iron, prebiotics, DHA, and ARA to support growth, digestion, and brain and eye development. And when your baby's ready for the next stage, Little Spoon has it. From your baby's first cereal to their first puree or finger food, Little Spoon has a full feeding system from day one.
If formula is part of your feeding journey right now, Little Spoon makes that choice feel less heavy. Their organic grass-fed whole milk infant formula is a complete nutrition recipe modeled after breast milk, and everything is openly shared on littlespoon.com from sourcing to ingredients to safety testing. Try Little Spoon formula with their 2-can trial pack. Buy one, get one free. That's $30 for 2 cans, which is great if you're easing into the transition. That's littlespoon.com/try formula.
It's 2026, and if you are still paying rent without Built, it is definitely time for a change. Grow up, glow up. Built is the loyalty program for renters that rewards you for your biggest monthly expense, which is rent.
With Built, every rent payment earns you points that could be used toward flights, hotels, Lyft rides, Amazon.com purchases, and so much more. And there's something else I'm really excited about, because now Built members can earn points on mortgage payments for the first time. That means you can get rewarded wherever you live and unlock exclusive benefits from more than 45,000 restaurants, fitness studios, pharmacies. I went into my pharmacy the other day and noticed they had a Built sticker on their door.
Oh,
I was so excited. I was so excited. And other neighborhood partners. Personally, I am redeeming my points at the pharmacy. I'm at the pharmacy a lot. And so I also like to pick up a lot of treats for myself. I'm using those points. And it is simple. Paying rent is better with Built, and now owning a home can be better with Built too. Earn rewards and get something back wherever you live.
Join the loyalty program for renters at joinbuilt.com/gals. That's JOINBILT.com/gals. Make sure to use our URL so they know we sent you.
We're back. I just had a brief meltdown off camera.
Totally valid.
We're fine. This is a hard episode that brings up a lot of feelings and frustration, and we're just gonna keep riding that anger and rage train because I'm gonna talk about a different failure. And this is a recent case that is an ongoing investigation, but I really felt like we needed to talk about it, and this was a perfect episode topic to do so. So I just felt like the timing was right.
Oh, good.
And I struggle to call this, and frankly, any of these things, system failures for a multitude of reasons. One, I think that passes the responsibility off into this sort of like amorphous, impossible to tackle, quote unquote, system, when what we know after like everything we've learned over the years covering topics like this is that like the system often, the cruelty is the point. It's built to harm.
It's working as intended.
It's working as it was built.
Who are truly in charge of said system.
Correct. Correct. So, I mean, yes, these are system failures, and the system is rigged. It's built to hurt people, especially marginalized people.
Yeah. Can I also point out one thing that you did say during the break that we hadn't talked about and very, very well should?
Yes, please.
Clary was a young white woman. And, you know, the people that we referenced before also had resources and were white. So if people, you know, in that demographic are falling through the cracks the way that Claire did, what else is fucking going on?
I mean, much more. I mean, the horrors that people of color experience in the mental health pipeline, in what we're about to get to, you know, targeting by police, by ICE, like it's just, yeah. So it's really frustrating that like, yeah, it's fucked up. And that's why we say, and that's why we're taught that like centering the most marginalized only serves to improve everything. Because if like young, resourced white women are also being treated this way, then imagine what oppressed, under-resourced young Black women are experiencing, immigrants are experiencing. It's far worse, and they just
people who don't have a platform.
No.
That we're fortunately able to get their story publicized, so people like us are talking about it.
It's fucking devastating. So we're going to dive into more. We can certainly agree that the mere existence of these systems is a fucking failure. So we'll, you know, the topic stands. But let's get into this more recent news story out of Buffalo, New York.
Oh, our favorite.
So I hope that most people have heard of this. This recent case of Nurul Amin Shah Alam, who was a 56-year-old Arakan Rohingya, which is a persecuted Muslim minority from Myanmar.
Oh, no.
Yes.
Oh, no.
And this is a region that the U.S. government has said was subjected to genocide. So when he and his family came here as refugees, they did it, quote unquote, the right way that these fucking fascists are always trying to hold people.
If I never have to hear the phrase the right way ever again, it'll be too soon.
I couldn't give a single fuck why people come to the United States. No. I don't care what way you come here. You don't deserve to be killed.
No.
Or detained. Period. Anyway. So he had actually worked in Malaysia for over a decade, separated from his family just to earn enough money to move as many of them as possible together, at least like the younger. They had 5 kids. 2 were younger, but not like children. They were like teens or, you know, just about to be 20. And then they had 5 children, and then 3 of them were older, married, had families of their own, and remained in Myanmar. But he went to Malaysia and was separated from his family to essentially work like a hard manual labor job to save up enough money to bring his wife and 2 of his sons to the United States so that they could live safely.
One might say he was pulling himself up by his bootstraps.
Yeah. Shah Alam came to the U.S. unable to speak, read, or write in English, and he was also almost completely blind. This is a quote from CNN. Shah Alam struggled with his eyesight and knee problems in recent years. Ailments his wife said stemmed from decades of, quote, all the labors that he did. Yet he would still joke, quote, whatever power that Allah took away from this eye, he gave it to the other side so that I can see, she said.
Oh.
I know.
That's
taking what she called his curse as a blessing. Just a few months after their arrival in Buffalo, Shah Alam was arrested on charges of trespassing and assault. Now, this is where we have to be constantly fucking critical of statements by police and things that are put out into the news just point blank. Because reading that, like taking that at face value, the narrative of this man being a violent offender can start to grow. Dangerous, all of this shit. But when we look at the circumstances of that arrest, it completely fucking falls apart. These charges are absurd. He had gone out for a walk, and I would assume because he's new to the United States, he probably does not have established medical care. He needs assistance devices because of both his knee injuries and problems and his eyesight. So he was using either one or two, I couldn't quite confirm, but like curtain rods to be for his mobility, to navigate his environment and to be able to just go like take a walk around his neighborhood.
He was using what he had. And what the fuck do you care what he's using?
Well, right. But these were used against him. So during his walk, he became lost and he wound up on somebody's property. One report alleged that he had accidentally damaged a fence that allowed the homeowner's dog to get out, but I'm not sure if that's 100% true. The homeowner called the police, who approached him aggressively, barking orders for him to drop his quote-unquote weapons, his curtain rods. Shah Alam did not speak English. He could not understand their commands.
Oh, my God.
He lifted his arms with walking sticks in hand and simply said, I'm sorry, okay, I'm sorry. But he didn't know what they were telling him to do. And they're like screaming at him, drop your weapons, or we're going to tase you. And he doesn't know what they're saying.
These are the cops. Okay.
They're giving him commands that he cannot fucking understand because he does not speak English yet.
Well, the cops have to escalate the situation. That's part of their job.
Yes.
Oh, did I get that wrong?
Yeah.
We wouldn't know it.
It took less than a minute from when they asked him to drop the sticks to tase him and tackle him to the ground. Again from CNN, quote, 2 officers, and I'm going to say allegedly because I don't believe a fucking word these dickweeds say, but the 2 officers suffered minor injuries, according to the police report, which also said that Shah Alam bit one officer on the arm and another on the hand while they took him into custody.
Bit.
Okay. Body cam video does not clearly depict that event, but it does show the officers struggling for some time with Shah Alam and punching him on the head multiple times as they attempted to restrain him.
Oh, my God.
And I also wanted to mention here, it's a very topical episode of Last Week Tonight with John Oliver that just as we record this just came out on Sunday. I did link the YouTube video of it in my sources. It's very well worth the watch. If you don't have HBO, you can watch it on YouTube. But it's about police. He's done a lot of episodes about police, but this one specifically focused a lot on police body cams. And when they are on, which apparently is fucking rare, how like deceptive that footage and easily manipulated in terms of narrative that footage can be. Like what it captures is a very limited scope. And so you're not getting the full picture of context of like the interaction. Also, often they will not turn it on until like they're in the fracas or about to be in the fracas so that they can say, this is what happened leading up to it. As things escalated, we turned on our body cameras. Here's the proof. So that's another reason why like it is really important that we are documenting with our own phones, like from an appropriate, like to capture appropriate surrounding context. Because when you have this like pinholed, zoomed in version of events that like is coming from a shaky body that looks really chaotic,
you
and
can
and
only
really
hear what they're
dangerous.
shouting.
You can only hear what they're shouting. You can only see what's like a few feet in front of their chest. You're not actually, and there's this crazy example that was run on like a local news show that John Oliver included, where it showed like the POV of body cam footage that made it look like this guy was like attacking the person wearing the body cam. But then when they pulled back to the full video footage, it's just two guys like not touching each other and like kind of dancing toward each other, and it looks really chaotic and borderline violent in the body cam footage. And then they pull back and it's just like two dorks like dancing.
That's so odd.
But it's intentional.
Yeah.
It is fucking intentional. And that's why it's like when people are murdered by ICE or police and the call to action is, well, put on their body cams, that is not a solution.
No.
That is part like that, you know, it is an important element, but these cameras are not there for your protection as a civilian. They are there to protect the police and to construct a narrative that can then be twisted so that the next thing you know, Alex Prettys and Renee Goods of the world are charging their fucking car at you or pulling a gun on you. When, thank God, there were enough people that captured that moment in its full context so that we had more than just bullshit body cam footage, if that even fucking exists, because ICE isn't wearing that shit in their fucking, like, Costco. No, I would never throw Costco under the bus like that.
Sam's Club,
Target, tactical gear. Anyway,
Amazon.
It's a really good episode of Last Week Tonight. I highly recommend watching it, and I did link it in my sources so you can check it out. Yeah, go ahead.
When I am president.
Yes.
When I bring honor back to the office, I'm going to mandate that cops wear those 360 GoPros where like their like the top of their face can look like really
we're
crazy.
We're going to get rid of cops altogether when we're president, but
the new cops, which will all women, first of
all women, anyone on the public safety team will be heavily monitored.
Yes, there will be plenty of oversight.
So all that to say, it's just really important that we are critical of what we are being told. And I think that that's becoming clearer and clearer and clearer every fucking day under this administration. And we might just be waking up to that now. But these are the narratives that have been constructed about Black and brown victims of police violence since day one.
Yeah.
Since fucking day one.
Since cops day one.
Yeah, which came from fucking slave catching in the United States. So let's just put two and two together there. So Shah Alam, after that incident, was indicted on felony assault, burglary, and criminal mischief charges and taken to county jail in Buffalo.
Felony assault?
Felony assault. And he is a brand new refugee immigrant to the United States.
Oh my God, I can't think of many more terrifying things than that.
So he was held in this jail for nearly a year because,
oh my God,
because the family didn't want to post bail because felony charges could trigger a deportation or at minimum move him into an ICE detention center. And so they felt that he was safer in the local jail waiting to be seen by a judge.
Oh my God.
And actually just last month at the time we record this, so early February, Erie County District Attorney Michael Keene said his office reduced the charges after considering Shah Alam's medical condition, as well as the time he served waiting for due process in a fucking county jail, as well
jail
as
for a year.
Speaking
no English and being blind with a bad knee.
He came to the United States in December of 2024, and by February of 2025, he was in a county jail.
Oh my God. What the fuck are we doing?
I know. And then the district attorney also said, quote, the significant collateral consequences that would result from a felony conviction, including mandatory deportation. So they reduced the charges so that he wouldn't be facing those possibilities. So he pleaded guilty to 2 misdemeanor charges, criminal possession of a weapon in the 4th degree, his fucking walking stick, curtain rods. I can't.
I didn't think I had many weapons in my home, but now that I'm looking, I have a weapon in every window.
And he was also charged with criminal trespass in the 3rd degree. And I would be remiss if I did not remind folks to not instantly call the police the second you see somebody on your property. I understand that can be a scary moment to see someone you don't know on your property. But like, first, if you don't feel comfortable calling out the window and being like, "Hey, you good? Do you need anything? Do you need help?" First call a neighbor, check in with some, like, it's just
we don't need to react like that anymore. That is a time of the past.
Yes, it's horrifying. We know that calling the cops on Black and brown people as like the first fucking resort can be a death sentence. So I'm also kind of pissed at this homeowner who, instead of like trying to communicate or ask if this man using walking sticks who's lost on your property needed help,
because he did,
called the cops, who then arrested him, put him in jail. He sat in jail for a year, and then this happens. So he pleads guilty to these charges. He pays a $5,000 bond, and he, at that point, was awaiting a sentencing hearing to see how all of this would pan out, which was supposed to be scheduled for March 24th, which, as we record this, is just in a couple weeks from right now. So they did all of this to get him out because they had essentially been assured, not just by the district attorney, who is like, okay, we're going to reduce these charges so he doesn't get an automatic mandatory deportation, but his legal team, which was also part of a team of immigration lawyers, were like, yes, you can bond him out. He's not supposed to be detained by DHS or ICE. He can come home. His trial date, or his sentencing trial date, is on the 24th, and then we'll figure it out. We'll see what the next steps are. While he was being processed to be released, ICE shows up.
To be released.
He was like going through the process of getting whatever personal effects he had, allegedly.
Why was ICE even allowed in that fucking room?
Why are they allowed at
anywhere?
People's immigration hearings that they are legally, like, they're going through the process of this immigration system and they're detained at immigration hearings. Separated children, beating up women and fathers. Like, they don't function within the fucking rule of the law.
No,
nobody fucking does.
I know.
We can't be surprised about it, but we can be fucking pissed about it. So yeah, they bond him out on February 19th. He's picked up by ICE. Erie County processed his release. They looped in DHS. I guess that's their protocol. ICE agents arrived at the jail to pick him up immediately, literally while he was being processed for release. They took him into custody.
Jesus Christ.
As soon as he was released from county jail, they had him in custody. And yeah, like I said, we know this wasn't supposed to be the case under the law, and we know neither ICE nor the fucking cops actually follow the rule of law, so this is what fucking happened. They held him for the rest of the day before being forced to release him because he was not eligible for removal by DHS. They had no reason to hold him. They had to let him go. Quote, Border Patrol agents offered him a courtesy ride, which he accepted, to a coffee shop. The coffee shop was determined to be a warm, safe location near his last known address, rather than be released directly from the Border Patrol station. He showed no signs that this is all, again, from like the CBP, the Customs Border Patrol statement.
Is there a reason the courtesy ride wasn't to his home?
Good fucking question.
Okay.
I mean, I think the reason is, again, like, the cruelty is the point. I mean, we see this happen in Minnesota when people get detained and taken to Whipple. There are whole teams of volunteers.
They let them out in the cold.
They either let them out in the cold right outside of the building. They've taken their phones. Sometimes they have confiscated their coats.
Their shoes.
Like, they have their shoes. Oh, we'll get to the shoes. They have nothing. We also have reports of ICE agents taking detainees that are being released in vehicles out of Whipple and dropping them in random locations. No phone, in the dead of winter in Minnesota, we just had a fucking polar vortex with the feels like temperature at less than negative 20 degrees.
Oh my God.
We had whole teams of people being like, we're trying to find people who got dropped basically in the woods. Like, because we have all these like wooded trails and areas just outside of the city. They just dump you. They don't give a fuck. They don't care if you die. In fact, I truly believe they want
people to die. Of course they do.
So they drop him off outside of this coffee shop. They said in their statement, quote, he showed no signs of distress, mobility issues, or disabilities requiring special assistance. Yeah. So to which I say, yes, a blind man who struggled to walk unaided showed no signs of disabilities. We totally believe you.
Right.
The warm and safe location mentioned was a Tim Horton's coffee shop. They dropped him off outside the shop at 8 p.m. alone in the cold when the shop had closed at 7. It wasn't even fucking open.
Okay, yeah, that sounds like a warm and safe location to me.
They also did not contact his lawyers or his family to let them know that he had been released from ICE custody or where he had been taken.
Oh my fucking God.
He didn't have a phone or means of his own to contact his family. A statement from his legal team said, quote, Mr. Alam was extremely vulnerable. He spoke almost no English and could not communicate without the aid of an interpreter. And subplot here, it literally in this, like one of the CNN articles that I read, it had like sections of like what we know happened and then lists of what we don't know. We don't know if he was ever offered an interpreter. We know that for some of this, agents were just using their like iPhone app to try to communicate, which like, sure, in a pinch, but that's not.
I don't even really, I'm not inclined to believe that either.
I'm not either.
They don't need to communicate with him. They know what they want and they're just going to take it.
Yeah, I don't believe a fucking word they say.
No, I don't.
Not a fucking word that they say. He suffered from severely impaired vision and had other health issues. He had only been in the U.S. for a few months prior to his arrest. He would not have known where he was or had the wherewithal to contact his family or avail himself of other resources or services that could have assisted him. Period. Full fucking stop.
Yeah.
You dumped this man. You may as well have plopped him in the middle of the fucking Siberian tundra. He can't see. He spent 3 months in Buffalo before he got arrested. He barely knows where he lives.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe
and
that's
he's been
why,
in jail for a year.
That's what I mean. Like, he was only here for a little bit. He's mostly blind. He does not speak English. And they dumped him at a closed Tim Hortons. You may as well have dropped him in the middle of nowhere. He had no clue where he was. How is this man going to get home? He didn't tell anybody where he was.
When they pulled up, they sure as fuck knew that coffee place was closed.
I guarantee they fucking knew. I guarantee it. You put it in Google Maps, it'll fucking tell you by the time you arrive, this is closed. There's no excuse for this shit. They just didn't fucking care about this man being a human fucking being. They don't care. 3 days later, on February 22nd, Shah Alam's legal team and family reported him missing to the local police.
3 days.
Initially, the police took their statement, opened a case, started to look into it, and then closed it immediately because they had heard he was taken to DHS custody. So he's just with DHS. Then they had to reopen the case after making, one fucking phone call to find out that DHS had in fact released him and no one knew where he was. So then they put out a public statement for assistance in finding him. And by 8:30 p.m. that same day, a call came in to 911 reporting a man fitting Shah Alam's description on the street downtown in Buffalo. I'm sorry. I'm trying not to cry. Not breathing.
That was 3 days later?
So he was released on the 19th. They filed the missing persons report on the 22nd. They put out a call letting people know that he was missing. A call came into 911 that he was essentially unresponsive on the street in somewhere around downtown Buffalo. EMTs arrived on the scene and attempted to perform life-saving measures, but he could not be revived and was pronounced dead at the scene. His cause of death has not yet been released, though it is entirely likely he died from days of exposure to the cold and lack of food and water. When he was found, it was discovered ICE agents had dropped him off without shoes, leaving him to wander in the cold in his socks. The day Shah Alam was dropped off at the coffee shop, the weather included freezing rain with temperatures in the low 30s. There was snow and fog over the next 2 days, with temperatures hovering around freezing for at least 24 consecutive hours. Police cameras in the area were also conveniently offline, so they couldn't track like where he had gone. There's like a little bit of footage from the Tim Hortons that showed that he was dropped off there and that he like wandered off. But nothing else in the area captured the direction he went. And like nobody knew that he was released. And the people who did know that he was released didn't give a fuck about his life. So no one's like looking for him at this point. He was just alone for days, just
days wandering
days.
around.
While New York Attorney General Letitia James has stated that her office is looking into the legal options and other government officials in New York have called for a full investigation, we know better than to put our faith in this, as we've seen so many die in DHS custody, as well as executed point blank on our streets without consequence. One thing we certainly can do is not be quiet about this case. People need to know that this fucking happened. And for New York listeners, definitely contact your representatives to demand an investigation seeking justice for Nurul Amin Shah Alam. He was a loving father, a husband, and a human being, and he did not fucking deserve any of what happened to him. A funeral service was held for him at their local mosque, but had to be live streamed for his family in Myanmar because his 3 oldest sons couldn't get here to pay their respects to him. His son, Faisal, who is in the United States, said to reporters, quote, "I wish my 3 brothers were here." I'm sorry, I'm losing it. I don't usually cry. I usually keep it together.
Well, we don't usually have episodes quite this heavy. Frankie.
It's okay. It's important, but fuck. I wish my 3 brothers were here so that I can cry on their shoulders, so that I can grieve by them, because I lost that one person, the foundation of my whole family, my father. Shah Alam's wife, Fatima, appeared during a news conference and referred to her husband as home. Quote, "He was everything to me. He loved me all his life. He was very loving and caring. He never raised his voice. He was a very calm and collected man, and he always takes the responsibility of the whole family regardless of the situation." So I'm just going to leave you with a statement from a spokesman for the family who said, quote, "We do not want his death to go to waste. We want his death to bring awareness to his community, his family, his community at large. We want his name, his story to be a voice for those who are still suffering." So yeah, all this shit going on, and like, you know, here in Minneapolis, obviously this is a really touchy conversation, but the system the system is not failing the way that we've been taught that this is a failure. You know what I mean? And like, we had our own fucking police chief who, whatever, fuck that guy, saying that they, you know, MPD wasn't going to work with ICE and you could call the police if like to report. And it's like, that was always a lie. Mm-hmm. It was a lie when Jacob Fry said it. It was a lie when Jacob Fry got on fucking multiple television platforms to jack himself off and say fuck ICE to advance his political career, while he and Governor Tim Walz and other higher level state officials in Minnesota have done absolutely nothing to protect their constituents. That is all being done by boots on the ground, like grassroots organizers and small local government officials, like city council, who are literally putting their bodies on the line to protect their people. They have lied to us at every fucking level. ICE has not left the state. The police work with ICE. We have this right here in Buffalo. The police told ICE that they were releasing him. Mm-hmm. And ICE came and picked him up and then left him out in the cold to die.
It's collusion, and it's, I mean, at the end of the day, it's conspiracy, because
it's all the same shit. They're all the same shit.
And it's all illegal, and all of, I hope to God we see a day when there's prosecution. And
it's just so fucking dehumanizing and horrifying. And it has been happening. It continues to happen. And I don't know when we are collectively going to wake the fuck up and put a stop to this. And it feels really hard to fight against, because these powers are indeed so powerful.
They're big systems.
They're big fucking systems. But, you know, hope is a powerful fucking drug. And I do feel hopeful that awakenings are happening as we have more of these conversations. And Yeah, I mean, if there's one small thing that you can do today, especially if you live in New York, but even if you live outside of New York,
fucking anywhere in the US right now.
send an email, make a call, at the bare minimum, demand an investigation for what happened to this man, because we fucking know what happened. But this man didn't have the community support and the frameworks for like what people on the ground in a bigger city like Minneapolis that's been experiencing this are doing. And so I also really want to urge people to connect and organize, like start making your fucking signal chats now, because even if you don't think it's happening in your community, there probably isn't a whole lot of chatter in Buffalo about ICE presence. And now, and then now there is.
Yeah, now
because
there is.
This, by the grace of God, made national news. And I only heard about it because people were posting about it on social media. I didn't see it on any kind of like official news outlet until I went looking for it.
Don't trust the fucking news anymore, man.
Bro.
They're all in on it. Speaking of systems.
Fuck.
And I feel like we should rename this episode System Exposures and not Failures, because like we said, they're operating the way they're supposed to operate. That we're just... Now, I mean, I follow a lot of independent journalists on social media. All of the credible news that I take in is from independent journalists. I am past the point of trusting CNN, you know.
Yeah, and I was actually really impressed with the write-up from CNN that I did find, but I corroborated it with a bunch of other sources, all that I listed. But like I was actually impressed because they were very critical of DHS. They were very critical of the, like they did it. This writer did a good job. This reporter did a good job.
A lot of them don't
agree.
Do a thorough, there's not a lot of coverage of a lot of bullshit that's going on right now.
No. And that's the thing, like if there had, you know, and I'm not blaming the community. I want to make this very clear. What I'm saying is what we see like here in the Twin Cities. So the Whipple building is a federal building that is kind of like a pop-up detainment center for ICE activity right now.
Make it sound so trendy.
It's nuts. But there's a team of community volunteers who are there essentially during all operating hours. So they can track who's coming in and out. They can follow to see where agents are headed. They can follow to see if agents are dropping released detainees off at random places. They're providing water. They're providing coats. They're providing shoes. They're providing a burner phone so these people can get in touch with their families. And like, this is the kind of shit that needs to be popping up all over the fucking country. So if you think like, I live in a little community of Buffalo, this isn't, you know, we don't need this. You do. And this happened already and it will keep happening. And just having neighbors that are looking out for each other, just keeping an eye on the building to go, oh, I saw somebody come out of there. Let's make sure that they have what they need. This man was in like the orange grippy socks that the fucking prison gave him.
That's so fucking
and just
crazy.
Dumped. No shoes.
Wandered
in
for
Buffalo
days.
In February. The cruelty is the point. And so that's where we as community members can do something. We can keep an eye on that shit. So truly make your signal chats, connect with your people. Everyone has an assignment. And if you are not able to be out on the front lines, that does not mean you don't have an assignment. There's so much coordination care that can be done. There's fundraising that can be done. There's grocery delivery. There's clothing drives. There's coat drive. All of these skills that we've had. You know, anyone who's done a fucking bake sale, you can do this. You can absolutely do. Everyday people are doing this every single day.
Because if they're not, who will?
We are all we have. Period. The government is. I mean, listen. I'm not trying to turn this into some like Joe Rogan ass fucking conspiracy shit, but like the government is trying to kill you, and so know your neighbors and protect each other because that's like the best pathway to survival. Is community care, but it is true, and they've been trying to kill you.
Oh yeah, they want us all dead.
They've wanted us. If you're not a billionaire, they don't fucking give a shit about you.
Well, they want your labor.
Yes, that's it. And
but
your labor is replaceable. Yep.
Now with AI, they don't really need
No, we're going to have like what? No clean water in the next like 5 years. But
Iowa's already in trouble with that.
Yeah.
I'm saving up for a reverse osmosis system because our water is giving us cancer. And like I've said, I drink a lot of water, so I don't love that.
And guess what? That's why I'm not going to quit smoking, by the way. Like, girl, you're going to try to take my nicotine away when
I have so little.
When everything in the world is actively trying to kill us. And I'm not going to take a hit off of some fucking candy robot penis to calm my nerves for 5 seconds.
You're
be fucking
fine.
Crazy. Yeah, I'm good.
You're
I'm
chronically ill. Your life expectancy is not much
Minimal.
longer.
No.
Oh, you suck that vape, girl.
I'm here for a good time, not a long time. From my cold, dead hands.
I'm going to bury you with your little orange vape.
Honestly, bury me with my vape. Okay? I'm entrusting you as my best friend to honor my wishes.
I'll put it in your hands.
Done.
Like,
I want it halfway to my mouth so I know it's just...
Yeah. You just got to get enough strength. I'll make sure it's charged.
You can lay me in my coffin the way that sometimes I fall asleep at night with it just like on my chest. Because I had just taken like a last bedtime rip and then I fall asleep and it's just like right here.
You're like an Egyptian mummy, buried with everything you'll need in the afterlife.
All of my artifacts, yes. I need them. Well, anyway.
And a little bag of Sour Patch Kids.
Yes. A candy that describes me as a woman, a friend,
a lover,
a mother,
a sister,
a nurturer. Well, I'm glad we got to laugh for a second at the end.
I needed to laugh.
My God. Frankie, thank you so much.
Thanks for that exercise, Frankie.
I'm so sorry.
I'm sorry about your friend.
Yeah. The failures seem insurmountable, but remember that is how they want us to feel so that we will not point out these issues or respond in kind. So keep the old eyes open. Remember your government's trying to kill you and try to have a nice dinner with your friends later, maybe.
And here's a reminder, your weekly reminder, it's okay to cry.
Yes.
What are you going to do? Not cry? Grow up. Get a grip. Look around.
If you're not weeping on a regular basis, I don't know what to tell you.
You need to seek help. You need to express your tear ducts. Yeah. Something's blocked.
Something's off.
Something's blocked.
It's like those dogs with like the anal glands that have to be. It's like, you're going to get sick if you don't cry that out. You got to express those glands. It's good for your health. It's good for your health. Drink some water, express your glands. Thank you for listening. We're so sorry.
I think I got my period during this episode.
Don't. Mine is just around the riverbed.
Well, based on my wet ducks.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
All right.
Thanks. Join us on Uncorked for even more fun.
Oh my God. Please.
Thanks, Frankie. Thank you for listening. We'll see you next week.
Bye-bye.
Like what you see? Check out more episodes and become a member to unlock exclusive content.
Yeah, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.
Bye.